Giggly Gorilla Studios coming at you live from the trees of Tallahassee, Florida. And I'm Graydon here with me as usual. He wasn't here last time, but he's back. He's back. Everest
Let's
is back.
go.
And we're expecting a package
Woo.
sometime delivered to Tallahassee.
Yeah, we do need we're waiting on a package. Dude, it's been so long, Braden. I miss recording these with you. I'm happy to be back. We got the schedules to work out. Um Today we're gonna be talking about a new movie that's out in theaters right now that we both saw. Drive Away Dolls from Ethan Coen. And we thought, we can't just do that. A little Drive Away Dolls review. It's not enough content for the people. They deserve more than that. So on top of that, Braden and I are also going to be giving our full rankings of all the Coen Brothers projects or movies that we've seen from worst to best. I think we've both seen 10. We both have 10 movies in our list. So that should be great. How are you, Braden? It's been forever.
Pretty good.
Let's go.
I've
Love
been
to hear
watching a
it.
lot of X-Men shit lately, I'm not gonna lie.
You have. I've been talking to you about that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we've been on my other show that's so random. Been making our way through the X-Men movies before Deadpool 3, and I've just separately been watching the animated shows because that's something I've never gotten around to. And Deadpool 3 kind of gives me an excuse to finally watch it. I finished the
It's
animated
true.
series. It's good. Not the theme
Okay.
song is goated, but the show itself is pretty damn good.
Yeah. I never watched any of the X-Men stuff as a kid, so maybe I should also start watching them. I haven't really watched that much besides like some new releases this year. I've been watching The West Wing, which my mom would be so proud of me for because that's like one of her favorite shows ever. It's pretty good. I'm still on season two, but yeah, I don't know. I watched like Spider-Man the animated series, which was like around the same time as some of the X-Men stuff, and just
Yeah,
never got around to it.
I feel like it's more dated than X-Men the animated series is. Like, I feel like X-Men the animated series holds up better.
Okay, well, I will be looking into potentially watching that then because I still like Spider-Man the animated series. I don't remember when the last time I saw like a good amount of it was, but I do vaguely like picture it being dated at this point. So you're probably right.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know, some of the dialogue in Spider-Man the animated series now, it's like it feels so weird because it's like this is not how people talk.
Yeah, I do like when I see clips on YouTube or whatever, if I'm watching like a comic book YouTuber and they play clips of it, I'm like, oh, that sounds weird, I guess. But shout out X-Men the animated series and shout out Deadpool 3. We need it to be good. Deadpool and Wolverine. Um if that's not good, bro, I'm probably like done with the MCU. Low key.
Yeah, I'm gonna crawl into a hole and just mute all MCU updates. Anytime my friends mention the MCU to me, I'm gonna be like, I don't know what that is, and move on with my day.
What does that stand for? MCU? I
The
don't.
MCU,
Uh,
you mean the unit that Gordon headed in the Dark Knight? The police unit, MCU? Dang.
MCU. Yeah. Marvel needs Deadpool and Wolverine to be a hit, and I need it to be a hit because I am. I don't know. Not that everything Marvel's done since like Infinity War and Endgame has been bad, but most of it's been pretty uninteresting or mediocre. I think.
Deadpool is a hard
Um,
character to make uninteresting. So like Disney, don't fumble this, please.
Yeah, if they fumble this, I'm actually gonna cry. But
Yeah, I watched X-Men Origins Wolverine for the first time this past week and talked
how
about
was
that.
that?
Yeah, we talked about that last night over on the other show. Man, dude, I had
Yeah.
seen like clips of that Deadpool before, but
hmm
it's so yeah, the pure character assassination is all that was.
It's a literal murder of the character. I don't know how any of that uh
And it
got
wasn't
through
even
the
Wade, it was
original movie.
Stryker controlling his mind. I'm like, the straight disrespect to the character Deadpool is it's insane.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so stupid, dude. Um, I'm trying to think what else I've watched recently. I rewatched Kingsman: The Secret Service, and that movie is still awesome. It's interesting because I just saw Argyle in theaters recently. Um, against my better judgment, and that movie's like really bad. So I don't know what happened to Matthew Vaughn because I went back and I watched Kingsman, and it's awesome. It's like the perfect balance of fun, campiness, great action, and an interesting and good story.
Yeah,
Um,
Kingsman is awesome.
yeah, Kingsman is
Oh,
great.
the next
I like.
X-Men movie we're doing is First Class, directed by Matthew
Hey,
Vaughn,
speaking
and
of
I
Matthew
am,
Vaughn,
yeah, I'm so excited to watch that one. Like, it's my,
First
from
Class is
everything I
good.
remember, it's my favorite X-Men movie, like pure X-Men movie, like them as an
Damn, that
actual
is
team.
that's cool. But I like that movie. I like the Kick Ass movies too. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with our boy Matthew, but
I like
I'm hoping he
Kick-Ass
can.
1 a lot. I wasn't as big on 2, but it's not bad.
That's fair. One is better. Yeah. Kingsman one is significantly better than two as well, in my opinion. So I don't know. Maybe he just can't make sequels. But
Also, I went back and finished Titans just because I kind of had to see
oh
how they did the
yeah,
multiverse. My curiosity just kind of got the better of me, and like it was right there. I'm like, okay, I know there's not going to be any more. This is the only season I haven't seen. I might as well just finish it. Probably the best season of the
mm,
show. That's not. It's probably not saying a lot, but honestly, it's probably the best season.
really
Yeah, I did.
interesting.
I didn't like the premiere, but like after that, it gets better. It's probably the most like Beast Boy in the show. It's probably the most like Superboy in the show. They basically just turned him into Lex Luthor, so be prepared for that. But it's like the most
Damn.
interesting he had been in the show because it wasn't just like, oh, I'm Superman's son. I got to be perfect. Everyone's got to like me, and worrying so much about what other people think about him. But yeah, I finished Doom Patrol as
That's
well. So I watched season 2, 3, and 4.
okay.
Uh, Pretty good all throughout. All like Doom Patrol
Yeah,
doesn't really get
yeah.
bad.
I need to finish it. I haven't seen season four. I still liked it a lot all
I
throughout
like
seasons
season 2
two
way
and
more than
three.
I expected to.
Well, didn't you? Because you got turned off by the Steve's daughter or whatever, right? And that just like
Yeah.
you didn't like her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't like her in the premiere episode, and then like I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go back and watch this. I didn't really like her in like the early parts of the season. Like as it went on, it's
yeah,
like, okay, no, I understand like where she's coming from. Like I
hmm
just like related more to her character and more of her
yeah.
connected with me as it went on.
She's annoying at the start, but once she gets more developed, I think she's much easier to go with. And yeah, I think season two is great. I still think season one is better. Doom Patrol season one was like one of my favorite seasons of TV I'd seen at the time. I thought it was fantastic. Season three I thought was good. I just haven't gotten around to watching the fourth one. I need to get around to a lot of TV. But look at you. I'm proud of you, bro. You're moving through shit, getting caught up. Epic.
I am trying, man. I can't do what, Connor does and stuff like that. One of
Oh
our
my
good friends.
god. Dude, Connor's crazy because I'll see this like super obscure show from like the 2000s that I've never heard of in my life because there's an actor I like in it and went down a rabbit hole. And I'll be like, Connor, have you ever heard of this show? And he's like, yeah, I watched it just this past month. Like, pretty interesting. And I'm like, oh,
Nonchalantly. Yeah, I watched
yeah.
it. I saw that.
He's crazy. He watches like hundreds of shows every year. I don't know how he does it.
I don't know
Um,
how like I don't know how I know it's not just a him thing. I know multiple people do this, but I don't get how people can watch like 50 shows at a time. I'm like, my mind just doesn't work that way. Like I'm also like
yeah,
if I
mine,
start something, I want to finish it, so that's kind of why I don't start so much at one time.
yeah.
Not
I'm kind
I
of the
don't try
same,
to
although,
anyway.
yeah, that's fair. I also am very particular with TV about like liking a show from the start. Like if there's a movie that I'm watching and it's not that great, I'll still finish it. But if a show doesn't hook me from the beginning, I will just stop watching it.
Oh yeah,
So that
same.
kind of deters me from a lot because I know there's lots of shows where people are like, "Yeah, it gets great. You just have to make it through the first season or the first half of a season." And I'm like, "We'll do other things with my time." Like I just don't care that much. But it's a lot of great TV out there. I want to start the new series Shogun that's out right now that everyone's been hyping up. It looks pretty interesting, but
Oh yes,
we'll see.
also watched the miniseries Chernobyl. Pretty good. Like if you liked Oppenheimer, I think you probably would like it.
Yeah, I watched I want to say 2 to 3 episodes of it, and it wasn't my favorite, and I just never finished it. But I think I should go back and rewatch from the start because I remember thinking it was interesting, but I didn't get through it all. But especially now that I'm older and post Oppenheimer, which I loved, I think I would like it. So
Yeah, I think this is
that's a
definitely not something I would have enjoyed when I was younger, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I tried to watch it 2 years ago or some 2 3 years ago, and it wasn't my favorite. But maybe I should give it another shot because I know people love that miniseries. So yeah, what were we here to talk about in the first place? Drive Away Dolls. When did you see it? Like a week ago?
I
I don't remember.
I saw it Wednesday.
Wednesday? Okay.
When did you
I
see it?
saw it. When did I see it? Pretty early when it came out. I saw it. Let's see. I think the last Friday. Last Friday I saw it. So I don't know. Dude. It's so easy to see movies here at my college because there's an AMC right across the street, and I have like the AMC membership. Where you pay a monthly subscription, and then you get to see 3 movies a week for
Yeah, I've
free.
thought about getting that because
So
it's only like $20, isn't it? Or something like that.
It's it changes depending on where you live. I think for me it's like $25 a month. But the thing is, regular movies at AMC's are so expensive anyways. Like
Yeah.
usually you're ending up paying $20 to go to one movie at the AMC. So it's hugely worth it. But yeah, I
Yeah, I
went
mean, I
over and
paid
saw it with a couple friends.
$13 to see this movie, so
Yeah. So if you see 2 movies a month, you'd be making up what you're paying with the subscription basically.
yeah, and you can see three a
Um,
week with the subscription. So you can see 12 movies a month. See, like if I
yeah,
knew of more good stuff coming out this year, like I just don't know much stuff coming out this year in general, to be honest, other than the stuff
yeah,
I'm specifically into, like all the comic book shit, and just mostly
yeah.
the
Hey,
blockbuster stuff because of course they announced that way early.
hmm
But yeah.
yeah. I don't know. There's not a ton coming out this year that I'm super excited for. Although Dune 2 just come out, and I actually loved it, which I'm super pumped about because I've been pretty like low on Dune as a whole thing, just because I was excited for the first movie from Villeneuve, and then I watched it and didn't like it that much. I think the second one's way better. I love Dune 2. I would encourage you to watch it when it's out on Max because I think it's significantly better than the first one.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it when it's out on Max. I'm not gonna drop money on a theater though. Hey, if I had
Which
that,
is
we're
is
not
fair.
sponsored by AMC. What is it? AMC Stubs, by the way. But if you had that, I mean, you can see 12 movies a month. I might as well just go see Dune too.
You can see 12 movies a month. But anyway, Drive Away Dolls is a new film from Ethan Coen. I think he like co-wrote it with his wife, which is actually pretty sweet. But I saw a trailer for this movie like a long time ago and sent it to you, I think. Or maybe we just both saw it around the same time. And I was like, this looks kind of fun. And it sort of blipped off my radar until it came out or it was closer to coming out, and I started seeing more trailers at the movies. But I went and saw it. Basically, my overall thoughts before we get in a little more in depth are it's a fun movie. It's nothing crazy, like it's not super deep. It's goofy. It's really short. It's like under an hour and a half long, which is crazy to me. In 2024, I feel like every movie is 2.5 hours these days. Um, it goes by really quick. It's a fun time. There's good performances. Matt Damon's in it for like 3 seconds, and yeah, I liked it. I liked it. What about you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. I kind of like that it's a quick watch. Like, it's, I feel like I'm gonna be able to rewatch it because of that. Like, probably more than once.
Yeah.
It's only an 80-minute watch. Sweet, I can just pop that in before bed. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
classified as a comedy thriller, and I think that suits it perfectly. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is, and it's not really more. It doesn't get like insanely deep. There is some emotion in there, which I appreciated. There's some personal stuff. But it doesn't get like
Yeah.
too deep or ever get too dark. It doesn't take itself way too serious, but it also like showcases everything it's trying to perfectly.
Yeah. I agree with that. It's kind of a road trip comedy, buddy comedy, which I'm always in the mood for some of those if they're done right. And I think this one is done pretty well. Like Braden said, it doesn't take itself too seriously, but there is still real humanity in it and emotional stuff that comes up, and I think it's handled pretty well. For me, I was never like wowed throughout it, but I was consistently entertained, which I think was the goal of this movie. Like, I don't think anyone making this thought it was going to be like a masterpiece. I think they just wanted to make something that was really fun and easy to watch, and for the most part, I think they succeeded. I like all the characters in here for the most part. Like the two lead actresses, I think both do a good job. Their chemistry is fun, and then also all the people chasing them and caught in the mix. Pedro Pascal is in the movie,
Yeah, for like three
and
seconds, much like Matt Damon.
it's kind of like Pedro Pascal's in it for 3 seconds at the start, and then Matt Damon's in it for 3 seconds at the end, which I think is so funny. But it's fun when both of those guys show up. I love when Matt Damon is just in a movie. We'll never
Yeah.
complain about that.
Oh, me either.
But
Yeah,
one
the
of one of the goats for sure.
Geraldine Viswanathan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but one of the leads, the one that's been in like Bad
Yeah,
Education and Blocker, she is hilarious, man. Like her comedic
she's
timing
so
is so
funny.
perfect in anything I've seen.
Yeah, she's great in this movie. Basically, I guess if people are unaware of the general plot, it's two lesbian women who are kind of in a funk, whatever, decide, hey, let's just go move. Basically, let's get out of where they are, which is Philadelphia, and they get a what do they call it? A drive? Is it? Are they called drive-away cars or drive
I'm not.
rental?
Yeah, I'm not
I don't know
sure.
what the cars are called, but I was totally unfamiliar, like unaware that this was a thing that existed. I guess that's because I was born in the early mid 2000s, and Jesus, I'm young. But this movie takes place in the 90s, so it was kind of cool to see that element. So they have to get a car from where they start to Tallahassee in like a day, 2 days, I think. It ends up being more than that, and then they find out that in their car that they're driving is something that some pretty powerful people are after, and it's sort of a mystery throughout the movie, and then what's in the car in the briefcase gets revealed, and it's not what I was expecting. I'll say that.
Me either. They waited a minute to
Um,
reveal what was in this case. When
yeah,
they did, it was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
it's funny. It's a fun moment. So they're getting chased by like sort of
Should,
uh,
should we like put a spoiler warning out or
yeah. We can do
yeah. So if
spoiler
you're
warning if you
interested in this
haven't seen it.
movie, just spoilers. I don't want to spoil what's in the case or anything like that because like I said, I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
think
pretty
that's a
funny.
moment everyone should see for themselves because I loved it.
Yeah, it's great. So spoilers from here on, we're just gonna talk freely. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
continue talking. Sorry.
Okay. So yeah, the two women they're going on their trip. It's sort of like I wouldn't say it's a coming of age movie because both of them are already of age, but it has some themes of like figuring out who you are and obviously they're lesbian women in the 90s, so there's a lot of sexuality in the film and stuff like that, which I think is done tastefully, whatever. But they're getting chased by these like I don't even know what you would call them because they're not like they're just mob ish like FBI bad guys that are coming after them.
On
And
the in the cast list, it looks like they're like labeled as the Goons and then as their
the
name. So I guess
goons,
they're the Goons.
that's incredible. So the two the two leads are getting chased by the goons. Sounds like
Yeah. So
sounds like
the
a
chief has the
Batman
two
movie.
goons chasing after the Kansas City Chiefs have the two fucking goons.
Yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs need what's in that briefcase. They've got a Lombardi trophy in there or something like that.
Man, there was
But
there's wait, how many Super Bowls have the Chiefs won? They have won four, haven't they? Oh my god,
they've won four.
that was the four Lombardi trophies in the briefcase.
Oh my god, that's perfect.
Oh my God, they
Um,
knew it was coming.
wow, they knew,
The
but
release of this film was perfect. Like, pretty
yeah,
sure this was originally supposed
that's
to come out
why.
in November, and the fact that it came out just after the Super Bowl, perfect.
Right, they moved it back because they knew that's the real reason Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs defense was trying so hard in the playoffs was to make sure the Drive Away Dolls film was accurate.
Yeah, the Senators' penises were actually the Chiefs' Lombardi trophy. Yeah,
Oh
that's why it
man,
was in
dude,
the
it's
briefcase.
crazy. Yeah,
That I
spoiler. There
not
it
what I
is.
was expecting.
Yeah, it's not. I thought it was just like drugs or like
I thought it was like money because they looked like excited when they saw it was in there. Like, oh
yeah,
shit, what are we
drugs
gonna
or
do with
money.
this? That's like, oh,
No,
is
it's
it just
just
money? But
no,
I was like, why are
it's
they keeping it hidden if it's just money?
that's true. But then I understood why they were keeping it hidden
And how they
because
reveal he's just
yeah,
he's just fucking herself after they slept together.
yeah, which is crazy. But
Why
I don't
did
know.
you
Yeah,
think you were gonna be quiet enough to not wake her up? You're literally doing this right next to her.
right next to her, which is insane. But yeah, it's kind of just a chase throughout the country sort of movie. The goons are constantly on the women's trail. They honestly don't really have any idea that they're coming after them for a long portion of the movie, which I think is kind of fun because the goons are like going through all of this trouble and like talking
Like,
to different people and getting beaten up.
yeah, no, I
Um,
like how the two goons were like totally separate. Like one was the super aggressive one that got his ass kicked the whole movie, and the other one was like the social like didn't want to get in a fight type person, like used his words.
Yeah, yeah, they're a good duo for sure. I like the scene when they're driving and it's like super late at night and they're just shooting the shit about like literally anything while trying not to fall asleep.
Dude, I love like all the scenes with them to be honest. I love the scene when they confront Jamie's ex, the cop, and she kicks Flint's ass, Flint the goon's
Yeah.
ass, just beats the fuck out of him, and Arliss, the other goon, just talking to her. Like, yeah, just where is she going? He's like, oh, can you give us a picture? And she's like, oh, a picture. Just stopped kicking the other guy's ass. Sure, here's one of them.
Yeah, I'll give you a picture. Here's one of them.
Then their interaction with the cheerleaders or whatever,
Yeah, yeah, that was. I love that they're like, "What were you guys doing here last night?" And they're like making out
making
with
out with two,
everyone.
and they just like look at each other, and
They
he's like,
all look
oh,
at each
don't kiss
other.
and tell.
Yeah.
I get it. It's like, no, they're telling you right now, man.
They literally are telling you.
God.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I definitely want to rewatch it when it comes on digital or streaming because, like you said, it's super short and there's lots of twists and turns. I would say, like especially towards the end, there's a scene where they're like they have the two girls in like a warehouse or whatever, and then there's an outburst of violence. I'll say that I was not anticipating. The goons get shot. It's like it's crazy.
Oh yes.
It ramps up at the end.
Well, one of the goons gets shot. The chief gets
One
shot.
of yeah, one of them gets shot out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, what just happened?
That's why you don't talk shit to the wrong guy, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And
Yeah,
then
so a man loses his head, some people get shot, there's a briefcase full of dicks.
Matt Damon's dicks. Yeah,
They're Matt Damon's. That's who they're going to. He's paying $1 million for these dicks, man.
he's paid so much money. Oh my god.
Dude,
Yeah.
she shit talks them when they show up with this briefcase
Yeah.
of his stuff, of his materials. And he's like, oh, scum like you delivering this? And he's like, just talking them down. I'm like, dang, Matt Damon, do you want these or not, man? Why does it matter
Yeah.
who's delivering them? You can't worry
You
about
know, and
things
then
in times of need.
more violence happens, dude. It's just like this movie never slows down for anything, which some people I think would maybe have an issue with. Like, there's not many moments where the film allows you to breathe, but For a concept like this and a genre like this, I love that it's just constantly moving, breakneck speed, twists and turns right up until the end.
Yeah. Also, the cop, what was her name? What was the Jamie's
Uh,
ex? Carla, is that it?
the,
No, wait.
uh Suki,
Suki?
is that the
Suki.
cop?
Suki. Yeah,
Maybe,
Suki?
I don't
Dude,
know.
she was a terrible, terrible cop.
She
She was
was she was a bad
such a
cop.
bad cop, but apparently she was a good ass lesbian because she tracked her
Oh
ex
yeah,
down at a dyke bar. She's like, "Yeah, how many dyke bars are in Florida?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you did your
yeah.
research
It's
there."
like this is where you would be.
You
Like, come
let
on,
Curly die though. Like you couldn't open the door. You're a
dude,
cop. You can go
Curly,
in.
poor Curly, bro.
Yeah,
Curly was
man.
goaded. He didn't
That
even have to
guy
die.
that guy didn't deserve to die at all.
He was
Like,
he was just living his life. He was just a little guy,
yeah, man.
and
He threw the papers up and everything. Can you not see in there? Come on. Come on, Suki.
horrible, horrible. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a ton more to say about this movie. I feel like we covered a lot of it. It's a fun buddy comedy. That's also a thriller. Some fun action. Uh, doesn't take itself too seriously, but still has enough of an emotional core, and ended up being just a really fun watch.
Yeah, agreed. It's a fun watch. I'm looking forward to rewatching this. I think in my review I said this and Bottoms would make for a good double feature. So I might do that when this one's like available.
That's true. That is true. This and Bottoms would be great together. I love Bottoms so much. I like Bottoms more than this movie, but I think you're right that they would go well together.
Yeah, I agree. I like Bottoms a bit more, but probably not as much more as you do. I know you love Bottoms.
Yeah,
They're both great though.
I do love that movie. They are both really good movies. And with that said, it's time we get into maybe the more fun part of this episode. I'm a sucker for lists and rankings and everything like that. So Braden and I are both going to go through our rankings of the Coen brothers movies that we have seen. So do you want to start it off with your number 10 and then I'll give mine?
Sure. Some of these movies will be the same. Some of these will be different. My number 10
Yeah, we've seen a couple
is
different ones. So
True Grit, the remake of
ooh,
True Grit
yeah.
2010. Uh, Josh Brolin's great in it. Matt Damon's great in it. Those are the main things I remember about this movie. I'm not really big on westerns, so
Yeah.
it's good still
Well,
though. I don't
I've
dislike
heard from
any
a
of
lot
these
of,
movies that I've seen.
which is impressive. I only dislike my number 10 movie, which is not True Grit. I haven't seen True Grit. Don't really have that much of an urge to watch it. I'm also not huge on westerns, and I feel like people generally say it's one of the weaker Coen's movies. But my number 10 is called Hail Caesar, and it's from 2016. It's a really weird movie. The cast is absolutely stacked. Josh Brolin is in it, George Clooney, Ray Fiennes, Scarlett Johansson, Tilda Swinton. The list goes on. If there's a famous person, it's probably in it. It just felt a little weird to me. Like it's very disjointed and there's lots of things happening at the same time. It's a little like another movie that I'll talk about. We'll both talk about Burn After Reading, but it's kind of a worse version of that sort of storytelling, in my opinion. Just didn't grip me, and yeah, it's the only Coen's project I've seen that I haven't liked.
Funny, you should mention Burn After Reading because that's my number
Hey,
9.
hey, there we go.
Yeah, I like enjoy the over the top absurdity of the movie. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, it's like I love the like whole end interaction with J.K. Simmons, the CIA agents.
It's great. That's a great moment. Yeah,
Yeah, I love like all the ridiculousness of this movie, and like there are
it's
stakes for
it's
the most silly thing.
yeah, yeah. It's a very goofy movie, but there's still like enough seriousness to it. I'll talk about it a little more later as well. But yeah, it's super absurd.
Yeah, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is another movie you haven't seen, so maybe you're not missing out on too much. But I do like this movie. It's Barton Fink, starring John Turturro. John Goodman's in it. He's really good. I think he actually won supporting actor for this movie. in 1991, or at least was nominated. He's probably the best part. It's a great John Goodman performance. It a lot of people love this movie. I think more than I do. I still think it's good. It's really interesting. Kind of about a playwright who's dealing with some writer's block and other stuff, and there's all the super unique Coen tendencies that go with it. For me, it was just a little confusing and a bit boring, I would say, but still a lot of good stuff. I don't know if I'd go back to it, but I'm not upset that I watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen either of those. But my number eight is the Hudsucker Proxy, another pretty insane movie.
So crazy, dude.
Literally, the dude kills himself, but then he's like the inventor of like all this stuff, like the hula hoop. I don't even know. I need to
Yeah,
rewatch
it's
it
like
because it's like one
I need to
that
rewatch
is
it
that
too.
insane.
I don't remember that much about it. It's like sort of a parody in a lot of ways. I don't know. It's a crazy movie. The Coens are so interesting because they have some films that are impossibly serious and like straight up dramas or straight up thrillers, whatever. And then they have some that are in the middle that balance everything really well. And then they have some on the opposite side that are just absurd or out there and kind of oddball, which I love. I think it's great. But my number eight is going to be the movie that we talked about for this episode, Drive Away Dolls. This may seem a little low, but that's just because I like pretty much everything I've seen from the Coens, and I do think Drive Away Dolls is one of the less impactful movies from them that I've seen at least. But like we talked about, I still really like it, and I think it's going to end up being rewatchable. So maybe it'll climb higher on my list in the future.
Yeah. My number seven is Drive Away Dolls. I pretty much agree with everything you just said. So
Oh wow, look at
yeah.
that, just moving right along. My number seven is a movie you talked about, Burning After Reading. Um, I do like a lot of it. It doesn't all work for me, but I think Brad Pitt's hilarious in it. The face he makes before he gets shot, like just absolutely gunned down in the closet, is like one of my favorite Coen's moments.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, basically what you said about it, I agree with. I might like it a little bit more than you do, just because I think it's hilarious and there's so many good moments in it. John Malkovich is in this, which is cool.
Yeah, the whole thing is like
But
they're trying to it revolves around like something he wrote. Osborne Cox, his
yeah,
character.
yeah. I like him in it. I like the cast. It's definitely absurd, but for the most
And
part, it
George
works.
Clooney's
It,
his wife's cheating on him with George Clooney.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Which
George Clooney's
hey,
having an
I
affair.
would.
There's like all this stuff going on. All this relationship shit.
Wow. But yeah, Burn After Reading, it's good. One of their best in my opinion. It's my number seven.
Yeah, so my top six, I like really like all these movies. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, my number six is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And I feel like
Mm,
this could be some people's favorite, and I wouldn't even disagree.
yeah,
Like the just the Coen's repertoire, their filmography is amazing, and the fact that like I
it
basically
is.
love my top six says a lot. But yeah, the what were they? The Soggy Bottom Boys, is that what they're called?
Soggy Bottom Boys. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love their
Dude,
whole journey
gas.
through the film and
Gas
they make
music.
some they make some gas music, admittedly so. George
Yeah.
Clooney's great in it. John Turturro, incredible. John Goodman also
He's
in this
so
movie.
good.
John Goodman's good in everything he's in.
He's great in everything he's in. He's one of those actors. I love this movie. It's going to be higher quite a bit on my list, so I'll be sure to talk about it more. But yeah, great film. My number six is a movie that you already talked about, Hudsucker Proxy. I think this movie is just so entertaining, and it stars Tim Robbins, who Braden knows is like one of my guys in Hollywood. Like I just love Tim Robbins. He doesn't really do that much anymore, which I think is kind of sad. But he had a run in the '90s and even into the early 2000s with stuff like Mystic River, where I just think the dude is incredible. I think he owned this role. It's definitely kind of confusing and just insane at times. There's multiple scenes from this film that don't feel real. He's like inventing the hula hoop and stuff. I don't know. I got to rewatch it, but I remember really enjoying the experience when I did.
Yeah, I need to rewatch a lot of these movies.
Yeah,
My number
me too.
five is Blood Simple, their first movie, and this is an impressive debut for any director. Joel Coen did a terrific job directing this movie. The performances were good from what I remember, and I just really liked the plot for a crime movie. I feel like there were a lot of swords from everything I remember. It's been a few years, but I remember loving this one.
Yeah, we watched Blood Simple together. I'm pretty sure we watched
Yeah, we
partied it,
did.
and yeah, it's a good movie. It'll be. I'll talk about it in a bit as well. But my number five is Inside Llewyn Davis, starring Oscar Isaac. This movie is super depressing, but in a good way. Like it's a really good movie. Um, I feel like a lot of people like it more than I do. This is some people's favorite Coens, which I think is really interesting, and I don't necessarily disagree. I think it's a really well made film. Oscar Isaac is horrific in it. It's a little more of a tough watch for me in comparison to some of their other work because it is just you following this dude having like the worst luck and the worst time. But it's a really unique film and it plays with time in a way that I think is really cool. So Inside Llewyn Davis, really good movie.
Yeah, I agree with all that. It's my number four. I think Oscar
Look at that.
Isaac's performance is pretty incredible in this, and I think it might be his best performance I've seen in anything.
I it probably is his best performance. He's been really good in some other stuff too, but I think this is probably his best work.
Yeah. So for that alone, that's kind of why I have it up so high.
Yeah. Uh, moving right along. Then, oh boy, here we go, Braden. You're gonna have to protect me, okay? Because my number four is a movie that is a lot of people's number one, a lot of people's number two. I have Fargo here. I don't really know what it is about Fargo that doesn't completely click with me. I still really like it, and I do need to give it a rewatch. And so I'm hoping I'll like it and love it more on rewatch. I think Frances McDormand is really good in it. She won the Oscar for it. Obviously, performance that resonated with people. It is a really well made film. It goes by quick. It's super well paced. I know Braden loves this one significantly more than I do, at least off my first watch. So he'll give it its flowers. But I don't know. I still really like it, but it's not one of my favorite Coens. But maybe that'll change.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a moment. My number three. So this changed because I rewatched two movies. One was Fargo, and one was this film I'm about to talk about. But Inside Llewyn Davis was my number three before I rewatched
Hmm.
The Big Lebowski. I love
Yeah.
this movie, dude. I don't think I ever rewatched it before today. I just went off the first watch. And I enjoyed it a lot
Yeah.
then, but like I still really enjoy it, especially like just the individual performances. Jeff Bridges is great in this as the dude. John Goodman is also incredible. Steve Buscemi, he's not in it like a ton. Like he's definitely more focused in Fargo, but he's in it,
Yeah.
and Steve Buscemi's always great in anything. But yeah, it's very much comedy, a crime comedy, and it's like a heist movie. Well, not a heist movie. It's a kidnapping movie, basically. It's a
Yeah.
ransom movie.
I uh I have not seen The Big Lebowski, which seems crazy and is kind of crazy. I definitely need to watch it. It's just one of those movies that slipped through the cracks for me, and now it's almost to the point where I'm embarrassed that I haven't seen it. So I like try to stay away from it. But
Bro, I
I
think
definitely need to watch it.
John Goodman is hilarious in this movie. I think he's probably the best part of the movie.
I I need to watch it. I will watch it eventually. I don't know. You definitely I feel like as a whole love and appreciate the Coens a little more than I do. I still think they're great. But I do need to get around to Big Lebowski. My number three is their debut, Blood Simple. I just think this is such a tight, like well made crime thriller, and I'm a sucker for those. It it's so early on and you feel some of the like 80s film vibes from it. It came out in 1984. I don't remember a ton, as this is also one I need to rewatch, but I remember Frances McDormand being great in it, young Frances McDormand too. And again, I think it's a movie that is just it relies on its story and its plot, and that carries it because it's super interesting. So yeah, probably higher than most people would have it, but I really like Blood Simple.
Yeah, okay. So oh man, dude, my number one and number two have flip-flopped a lot, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know.
right now, my number two is Fargo. I love
Okay.
Fargo. It's awesome, and if like number one and number two are so close, like, my number one could be number two, and Fargo might be number one. But I rewatched
Yeah.
Fargo today, and I think I prefer what I have at number one over it just because I think that movie's more intense than Fargo is. Although Fargo does get intense, but it's also like
Fargo is intense at parts. Yeah.
it definitely is. But there's something about Fargo that I just fucking love. Like the pacing is perfect, and like all the social interactions seem so natural. Like it doesn't even feel like
Hmm.
it's a movie half the time. It just feels like you're watching people fucking talk. And I
Yeah.
love that. Like it made me feel like I was in like Fargo, the city of Fargo. I'm like, this is awesome. Just I love
Yeah.
the
Shout
accents all
out.
through it.
Where it's in
Everyone's talking in
Minnesota,
the
right? Is
yeah,
that?
yeah, everyone's talking in the
Yeah.
Minnesota accent, and I
Yep.
love it. I'm there for it. And when it does get intense, I think Steve Buscemi is the best part of this movie for me, without a doubt. I love him in this fucking film. Sucks that he died.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's based
Steve
on a true
Buscemi.
story though. So.
That's true. Steve Buscemi, just one of the great character actors or supporting actors of all time. Really, he shows up in pretty much everything, especially in that '90s period where he was just on an absolute heater, working with Quentin Tarantino,
Oh
working with
yeah, Mr.
so
Pink
many
and
directors.
Reservoir Dogs.
He's so good in that movie. That I need to rewatch
Yeah, he
Reservoir
was in The
Dogs
Big
now. You, I
Lebowski. Yeah, he was in a lot of like Tarantino and Coen stuff.
Yeah. Which hey, if you're gonna work with any people, might as well be those guys. But I'm gonna rewatch Fargo and I'll see if my opinion changes because your love for it makes me happy and I want to appreciate it on a higher level. Um,
Yeah, so both
so
my
mine,
top two movies are 5-star like films. By the way, I
yeah,
think Fargo is like
that's
a near. It, I don't think there's a such thing as a perfect movie, but Fargo is near perfect for me. I don't think there are many flaws. There's not a thing I would change about the movie.
yeah. Uh, yeah. I don't have any 5-star Cohen films. Which again goes back to I think you just something about them connects a little more with you. But I have a 4.5-star film and a bunch of 4 stars pretty much after that. But my number two is Oh Brother Where Art Thou. We're gonna have the same number one, which is kind of cool. But I love Oh Brother Where Art Thou. I think it is such a fun, like almost whimsical story. It I described it to you, I think, one time as being sort of the Coen brothers' Forrest Gump, like a movie that goes through time periods and just has their characters uh, doing such a wide range of things as they're kind of running from authority, whatever. The whole cast is great. Clooney's great. Turturro's great. Like you said, John Goodman's great. It's based on the Odyssey, which I think is super interesting. Like I always find it fascinating when um, artists take like very famous work and adapt it into something that's completely different. So yeah, I loved Oh Brother Where Art Thou. The soundtrack's great, and I just think it's fun.
Yeah, very fun movie. I really need to rewatch it. I was gonna
Yeah,
rewatch
it's so
that
good. But
instead of Fargo, but it wasn't streaming on anything, so that's kind of why I just
ooh, tough. Yeah,
yeah.
that's fair.
So we have the same number one,
Yeah,
and that number one is No Country for Old Men. Uh,
dude, what a movie.
oh, it's so good. Uh, I don't know, dude. I don't know if it's like a top 10 movie ever for me, but it's probably like top 20 at least. I love it.
Yeah, I love this movie, and you got to start with Javier Bardem. Like that's where I want to start anytime I think about this movie. It's one of the great villains in film history, one of the great performances in
Yeah, I
film
think it's
history.
one of the best original movie villains ever.
I agree with that 100%. He's so menacing. Everything about him is terrifying. Like his weapon, he kills people with like an air gun, basically. I don't even air pressure rifle. It's insane. Um, I love how tense this movie is at times. Like there are moments where Josh Brolin and Javier Bardem are going at it, like that shootout by the hotel or whatever. All of it is it's so good, and Tommy Lee Jones at the end brings it home. It is one of those movies that feels like a magnum opus for a director, or in this case, like two directors. I think this is the best Coen's movie. One of the better movies I've seen in my lifetime. I don't love it as much as you. I don't think, but it is great. 2007, bro. What a year for film.
Yeah, you talk about like best picture winners a lot. You're into Oscars a little more than I am, but when it comes to those, I think this is the best picture winner I've seen. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's great. It is one of the more deserving Best Picture winners in history, I would say. Like you can go down the list of them, and there's a lot that you're like, well, how did that happen? This one makes sense, even with There Will Be Blood coming out in the same year, which is basically the biggest compliment that I can give this movie because There Will Be Blood is like a top 20 movie ever for me. So yeah, this movie rules.
Yeah, it's so good. And like you touched on it, but that chase sequence like at the hotel between uh Lewin and freaking Anton Chigurh, so good.
Yeah,
Like
so
uh
good, dude.
like one of the best. I guess it's an action sequence, but it's like it's more than just an action sequence. Just it's one of the best sequences in like a movie, especially a movie of this type that I've seen.
Yeah, and it's kind of the perfect just cat and mouse, like one guy versus one guy going up against each other. Obviously, there are other elements baked into it, which helps it feel really developed as an idea and as a film. But the main part is Anton Chigurh versus Lewin, and that is really all you need because
Yeah, and like
again,
if you've
Javier
never seen
Bardem,
this, you don't know if like Lewin's gonna make it out of this or not because
yeah, you
yeah,
don't.
like Tommy Lee Jones is the main character of this movie. Well,
He is,
he's
yeah.
billed first anyway. I think Anton Chigurh is really the main character of this movie.
I would agree with that. But Tommy Lee Jones gets the first build, and Tommy Lee Jones is really good in it. He's never been one of my favorite actors, but this is probably the most fondly I think of him is in this role. He just
I'd agree
so
because when I think of Tommy
yeah
Lee Jones, the first three things I think of are this, him in Batman Forever as Two-Face, and Men in Black, which is a franchise I've seen zero movies of. So, and I also
yeah
think of him in the first Avenger just because I've seen that movie a few times.
yeah he's I like him in First Avenger, but this is probably yeah definitely my favorite I've seen him in. We don't need to talk about Batman Forever. Um,
Hey, we have a whole
that
commentary on
movie
it. You should go check that out at the Red Arrow on
we do
YouTube.
have we do have a whole commentary on the Red Arrow channel. But yeah, No Country for Old Men for me is probably always going to be my favorite Coen film. It just feels like their perfect movie. But I want to rewatch Fargo. I want to rewatch a lot of their movies, and I still need to see some big ones. Big Lebowski, I know, is some people's favorite. So we'll see. But the Coens are definitely some of my favorite people in Hollywood, even if I don't get to a level of love for some of their films like you do. I still think they're great and super consistent across the board.
Yeah. And the main reason I put No Country above Fargo is Anton Chigurh. Like, yeah, his Javier's performance alone, man,
Yeah,
one of the best movie
it
performances I've seen. To give him his flowers there.
it probably is. If I made a list, it's probably a top 10 performance ever for me. Like main character,
Yeah.
supporting character, whatever. Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men is a top 10 performance I've ever seen.
Like, I can't think of a villain performance other than Heath Ledger's Joker in a film that I prefer over him as Anton Chigurh. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think the list is very short to none for me as well. Christoph Waltz in Inglorious Bastards, I think, is unbelievable and kind of in that same vein. I mean, they both won Oscars back to back, or not back to back years, but sandwiched with Heath Ledger in between there. What a run for villains in the mid to late 2000s. But yeah,
Man,
Javier
dude, there have
Bardem's
been some
incredible.
good movie villains. Man, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was our Coen drinking. That was our
Woo!
discussion on Drop Away Dolls.
Yeah, and that was the boys catching up after the first time recording what is way too long and feels like forever. But
Yeah, hopefully we'll be back sooner with something.
yeah, please, we need to do this. I had a great time. Love the Coens. Really like Driveway Dolls. Go see it if you haven't already.
For
And
sure.
yeah, that's gonna do it for us.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to plug before we go?
I am Arcanized on YouTube if I ever decide to upload. You can follow me at ArcanizedYT on Twitter. I post a lot about sports and movies and just stuff that I'm doing. If you want to follow me on Letterboxd, it's Arcanized. But yeah, that's about it. People don't need to follow me. I'm just here to spread the love, dude.
Yeah, well, you can find me at the Red Arrow on YouTube, or well, I know YouTube has like the actual ad thing now. I think my ad thing is at the Red Arrow DC, just because there's more channels called
Yeah, that's
Red
weird.
Arrow
The
or
ad thing
whatever.
is weird.
Yeah, but it's just the Red Arrow. I'm the one that does a bunch of DC shit, and you'll see some football stuff, and you'll see some wrestling stuff, whatever I want to, because it's my
WWE,
channel,
baby.
man. It's my channel.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna do what I want, and hopefully you guys are gonna support it so we can keep doing it. And you can leave a comment and let us know what you want. We'll take it into consideration. Yeah, you can find this show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. But yeah, we'll be back next time talking about something.
Hell
We'll figure it
yeah.
out. But we're gonna go back into
All right.
hibernation for now.